Hello friends and welcome to today's New York Times Hard Sudoku. Today is November 16, 2022. I didn't upload any videos for the past couple of days. I was preoccupied. Yesterday we put a dear old friend of mine to rest in the South China Sea. So let's get on with this puzzle, shall we? The 9 here and the 9 here, of course, puts a 9 in this cell, like so. No argument about that. And now I know because of the 8 here and the 8 here that an 8 will have to go in one of these two cells. That's also reinforced, of course, by the 8 here that blocks all of these cells across the grid. Quickly scanning a 7 here and the 7 here and the 7 here puts a 7 in this cell. And now we need to find a 7 for one of these two cells. And that's easy enough because of the 7 down here that blocks this cell. Now, scanning down, we got the 7 here and the 7 here. That, of course, forces a 7 to go here. And going across now, we find a 7 for this cell because of the 7 here and here and here. They block all of these cells. Let's see, yeah, and of course, a 7 must go in this cell now because of these two 7s and the 7 here. So the 7 goes here, and that's it for the 7s in this grid. We got a 2 and a 2 here, and we need to find a 2 for the row 5. And since it clearly can't go here or here or here or here because of these 2s, the only cell left is this one. And now the 3 here blocks these two cells from containing a 3, and therefore we know that a 3 will have to go either here or here. And a ghost 3 here, and this 3, and the 3 over here to the left force a 3 into this cell. And now we scan right, and this is now a 3 here and a 3 here. We need a 3 for one of these two cells, and there's a 3 here that blocks this cell. Ergo, the 3 must go here. Row 5 still needs a 1, 5, 8, and a 9. And we've got a 1, 8, and a 9. They block this cell, and therefore it must be the 5. And the 8 here blocks these two cells from being an 8, and therefore the only cell left is going to be here. And now the 8 here and the 8 here and the 8 down here force an 8 into this cell. So far it's going pretty well, I would say. We still need to find a 1 and a 9 for these two cells, and they can't be placed at this time. But I believe we can do something about the 8s. The 8 here, of course, blocks this cell from being an 8. And we got this 8 over here, and that blocks these two cells. Therefore, we know that an 8 for this column 3 will have to go either here or here. So an 8 here and an 8 here now leaves me to find an 8 for one of these three cells. And that should be easy enough because we have this 8 and we have this 8, and they block these two cells. So the 8 is forced into this cell. Continuing on with the 8s, since this cell can't contain an 8 and this also cannot because of the 8 here, and the 8 here blocks this cell, we're left with this cell for the 8. And now scanning right, we see the 8 here and the 8 here, and we need to find an 8 for these three cells. And there's an 8 here and here. They block this cell and this cell. Therefore, the 8 must go here. Now we need to find a 2, 4, and a 9 for these three cells, leaving me to find a 1, 5, and a 6 for this cell, and this cell. And it's not quite clear to me at this time where to put those. We shouldn't forget that these two cells have to be a 1 and a 9. While we can't place them at the moment, we can start to think about these 4 cells. If they are not going to be a 1 and a 9, what are they going to be? They're going to be a 3, 4, 5, and a 6, aren't they? And it so happens that this cell can be seen by a 5 and a 3 and a 6, and therefore it's forced to be a 4. And therefore, because of the 5 here and the 5 here, one of these cells will have to be a 5. And this cell up here cannot be a 5 because of the 5 here. So now we know that one of these 3 cells will have to be a 5. And one of them will also have to be a 1 because of the 1 up here. So we know a 1 and a 5 will have to go in these cells here. And look at that. This cell also cannot be a 2. So a 1, 2, and a 5 must go in these 3 cells in some order. And that leaves only a 9 to go into this cell. And now this must be a 4 or a 6. This must be a 4 or a 6. And of course, this cannot be a 4 or a 6 because there's already a 4 here. So the 6 must go here and the 4 must go here. And this is now a 2 and a 6 pair for these 2 empty cells. But what's more important is that the 4 here now and the 4 here and this 4 now forces a 4 into this cell. Now this is a 2, 6 and this is a 2, 6. This is a 2, 6 and this is a 1 or a 6. And this is a 1 or a 6. And now since we only have 2 cells left in this column 9 and the 6 here prevents this from being a 6, it must be a 2. And therefore the 6 must go here. And that of course puts a 6 in this cell and in this cell. The last digit missing here is a 1, it goes here, and that forces a 1 into this cell. And the last digit here now is going to be a 3. These 2 cells now have to be 5 and 6 in some order. The 3 and the 9 that we still miss for these 2 cells can be resolved quickly because of the 3 here. This must be a 9 and this must be a 3. Now the 9 here blocks these 2 cells and the 9 here blocks this cell. So therefore the 9 will go here for this row. Now the 2 here blocks this cell and the 2 here blocks this cell. So the 2 must go here and we are stuck now with a missing 5 and a missing 4 for these 2 cells. There's a 4 here, that puts a 5 in this cell and a 4 in this. And we can enter the last digit here now, which is going to be a 5. And that takes care of the 5 and the 6 we were still waiting for down here, doesn't it? The 5 goes here now and the 6 here. The 6 here and here block all empty cells in this 3 by 3 except for these 2. But this one is blocked by this 6 over here. So the 6 will have to go in this cell. And because we now have 6s for rows 7 and 8, it's easy to find where the 6 goes for row 9. It's because of the 6 up here and here, the 6 must go in this cell. The remaining digit is going to be a 5, so that's easy enough. And one of these 2 cells would also have to be a 5. And the 5 here and here gives me the 5 for the corner cell, like so. The last 2 digits missing here is going to be a 1 and a 2. We have a 2 in this row already, so the 1 goes here and the 2 here. Now I think we are getting somewhere. The 2 here and the 2 here plus the 2 up here, they force a 2 into this cell. Now the last digits here were going to be a 4 and a 9 if memory serve. And since that here is also a 4 and a 9, and it cannot be a 9 because of the 9 already up here and here, this is now a 4 and this is a 9. And now This cell must be a 4, of course, and that puts a 4 in this cell. And in this cell here, this now must be a 1, making this a 1 and this a 9, of course. And this is now also a 9, and this cell can only be a 3. That puts a 3 in this cell, of course, and a 1 here, and a final 1 here. That wasn't too hard, was it? I hope you enjoyed it, and that you'll be back for more soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.